So in a previous video, I got a question asking, is it possible to turn the Boss RC-505 loop station into a MIDI controller? So for example, we can use all of the buttons on the device to control software running on our laptop, such as Ableton Live. Now I thought this was quite an interesting use of the looper station, so I had a little bit of a look into it. Now I'm kind of pleased to say that it does work to a certain extent, and I'll go a little bit more in depth later on in the video as to what it can't really do. But hopefully this tutorial today can help you on your way to setting this up. So let's just jump straight to the video. So let's first start with plugging in our USB cable. Now, if you haven't already, check out this video over here where I go a little bit more in depth on the USB modes on the Boss RC-505 and how to install the correct drivers, etc. So let's crack on with today's video and get our cable plugged into our laptop. So I've just booted up Ableton Live and created a brand new live set. Now what I've done is I've created 5 blank MIDI tracks, and I've labeled these track 1, track 2, track 3, track 4, and track 5. Now these are going to relate to our tracks on our Boss RC-505. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to jump into our preferences over here and head down to the Link MIDI tab. Now on my Link MIDI tab, the only USB device I have plugged in to my laptop at this moment in time is the RC-505. And you can see that over here. Now, depending on what you want to do with the device, you can switch this stuff off and literally just leave it in remote mode, because we're just going to use this as a MIDI remote today. So we'll exit out. That's all configured. Now, the interesting thing is with the RC-505, what you would expect right now is for this device to just work straight away. You've selected it and you'd expect you would be able to jump into our MIDI tab here and start mapping all of the buttons. However, there's another few steps we have to do in order for this to work. So the additional step is in the RC-505. We're going to hit this memory button over here and we're going to keep scrolling to the right until we get to control assign. Now you'll be familiar with these control assign options from a previous video I did on how to set up an external MIDI foot controller to control the Boss RC-505. However, this time we're going to do it the other way round. We're going to use our RC-505 to send MIDI data to the laptop, which is going to be an external device. So let's start with assign 1. What we're going to do is we're going to change the source to the buttons on our RC-505. So for example, we have track 1 all the way through to 5 for record, dub, play, stop, and then we have some CC values. Now this is where the RC-505 has limited functionality. Because we can only use those buttons in particular that are in this assign source menu, that's all we can map in order to control our laptop. Unfortunately, we can't map the faders to do anything. We can't map any of these track buttons to do anything. We can only assign these buttons here and these buttons here. That is it. So jumping back into the menu, now we've selected our first assign source. We're then going to reassign the target. So here you can see we can assign the target to CCs. And obviously, this is what's going to send to our laptop. So we're going to set the first one as MIDI CC1 because it's track 1. This is going to make it super easy for you to understand. The second one we're going to do is the exact same. However, this time we're going to do track 2, record dub, and scroll over to the right and change the target to MIDI CC number 2. Just keep scrolling until you can find that. There you are. Exit out. So you then want to repeat this process for tracks 1 through to 5 for whatever you want them to send to Ableton Live. I'll now show you how we can map these buttons in our Ableton Live set. So what we're going to do is we're going to click our MIDI tab in the top right corner here. You can see everything turns blue, which now means we can assign literally anything which is blue to our RC-505. Now in this instance, I want to assign the clip record button over here. So If you just erase what's already inputted there. Now I'm going to select this button here. I'm going to click it in on my laptop, and then I'm going to select this button on the RC-505. You can now see this has been mapped to our laptop, and we can exit out of our MIDI tab. Now when I click record on the Boss RC-505, this clip here will begin to record. Now watch this. There we go. That's it working in action. Now, unfortunately, this is as far as I can take this tutorial because in conclusion, the RC-505 isn't really designed to be a MIDI controller. Now, let me explain. The problem is with these switches, they send two different types of MIDI commands off the same button. So let me explain. It sends one MIDI note when it's in record mode and it's red, and it sends a secondary command when it's in green playback mode. But the problem then lies with the fact these stop buttons are linked to these MIDI buttons here. So we can't map the stop clear buttons in Ableton separately. They are linked to this button here. So it means when we're trying to map record and play in Ableton Live, they're constantly overwriting each other because they are the same button on the MIDI controllers. Now, I hope you found some value from today's video. I'm really sorry I could not show you it working 100% in action, and I could only show you how to send MIDI commands from the RC-505 to your laptop. Now, let me know in the comment section down below if you find a solution to the problems I had, and if you actually get this to work and you actually use it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you thoroughly enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider leaving me a like and a subscribe. This channel's all about live looping, upload live looping tutorials, live looping performances every Tuesday, Thursday, and now Saturdays. I've been Ben Rowlands. You can find me online at benrowlandsmusic.com. If you want to learn more about live looping, check out this video over here, and I'll see you in the next one.